All Elite Wrestling is a company that's been around for about 5 years. In that time, they've attempted to carve out their own niche in professional wrestling. So naturally, every business decision, scandal, product, and personality is scrutinized and compared to WWE, who are the market leader, to say the least. To be brief and to get it out of the way, I think AEW is what strategy would refer to as aggressively okay. Their roster has some really talented people who I would say are not really being utilized to their fullest. And the storytelling is messy and inconsistent. In short, too many high spots and not enough stakes to justify them. Having said that, though, I'm glad they exist, because when WWE has no competition, wrestling is the absolute fucking worst. So when AEW decides to release a video game, I think it's fair to compare it to WWF No Mercy and SmackDown Here Comes the Pain. Since it was directed by the No Mercy director and developed by Ukes, who worked on the WWE wrestling games, Here Comes the Pain being one of the earlier and arguably one of the better wrestling games from Ukes. So, Fight Forever comes out, and it didn't do too well. A lot of disappointment from people who have been grinded down by the repetitive and stale WWE 2K series. If we start with the game's influences, No Mercy is pretty slow, but the trade-off is that it allows for some really technical and tight gameplay. It's a result of the developers fine-tuning the Aki engine from previous games. There's a visual clarity that modern games lack. Every move, grapple, and dive is really easy to process. On the other end of the spectrum, Here Comes the Pain is really goddamn fast. I play F-Zero, so I like fast, but this is breakneck speed. Fast and loose, which is a lot of fun. Unlike No Mercy, it can come off as clumsy at times. Some moves only work with a direct hit, and in other circumstances, they just kind of work. AEW Fight Forever lands somewhere in the middle. Its striking system is closer to the SmackDown games, and the grappling seems to be working on No Mercy logic. Once you get over the learning curve and hidden mechanics, it just works. You get the fast pace of the SmackDown games and the strategic gameplay of No Mercy. Striking feels good enough. You can do both punching and kicking combos depending on who you're playing as, and they work even in grapple states. The game uses a 2-button counter system, 1 button for grapples and 1 for strikes, which feels intuitive. They reused the No Mercy light and heavy system for grapples and strikes, which is very easy to understand. Light is low risk and low damage, and heavy is a gamble with a bigger payoff. The engine overall is okay, but there are some problems. The movement somehow manages to feel both clumsy and rigid. The animations can sometimes look rough and unnatural. Apparently there was no mocapping for budget reasons, and honestly, it shows. Some of the advanced controls don't make sense. In No Mercy, you press the R button to put them upright, and hold them to get them standing. For whatever reason, this doesn't exist in Fight Forever. Normally, it wouldn't be a problem, but some wrestlers have finishes that require the seated position. Starting out, I had this Reddit post open with all the advanced controls, which probably should have been listed in the game itself. With experience, I'm sure a lot of these problems can be overcome, but according to the reviews, the biggest problems come from career mode, along with extremely limited options in Create a Wrestler. The game kind of encourages you to play through as a custom character, so I wanted to create a Kung Fu Man, but that just wasn't in the cards, so we have to reach a compromise. Only assholes choose their own gimmick, which is usually, I'm a strong, cool guy who wins all his matches. With that said, my guy is a Kung Fu trained conductor, who also moonlights as a ninja. Unfortunately, I couldn't find a karate gi or a trained conductor's hat, so you're just going to have to use your imagination. Sadly, there isn't much choice in the way of clothing and wrestling gear. Also, Jimmy Wang is retired, so that's why I'm stealing his gimmick. When building your wrestler's moveset, you might find that there are a lot of moves. Creating a wrestler is always a long, arduous process, and Fight Forever is no exception. When picking your special moves, I can't tell which are supposed to be finishers, because they don't state how much damage they do. Here comes the pain and No Mercy do this properly. But for some reason, Fight Forever has no indicators for damage. Finding moves is a pain in the ass. You can't separate them by category, and they didn't separate them like they did in No Mercy. But you can favorite them, so that's something. Strangely enough, I think there's too much customization. For example, you can pick different grapples for left and right arm, but there's only like 4 options and 4 slots, so what the fuck is the point? After 2.5 hours, I now have a wrestler whose moveset is a complete mess, and he's wearing clothes that I'm not happy with. Not a great start, but don't worry, it gets worse. Road to Elite is the game's career mode, where you play as a brand new AEW wrestler who gets to join the company from, I think, the beginning. I'm not quite sure. This might be the most disappointing aspect of the game. So let's pick our diet, difficulty, and personality. The AEW boss, Tony Khan, decides to sign J-Train, a young prospect with a very promising future. Game opens with a battle royal, so if you're just figuring out the controls for the first time, you don't know how to throw people out, then how does it work?
I don't know!
So after eliminating a few guys and losing the match, we get thrown into our first storyline. But before that, good old JR is here to show us what we can do to prepare for a match. You get 4 turns and a few options. Working out gives you experience at the cost of energy. So get ready to see this screen repeated over and over and over. Dining restores your energy, and you get a different meal depending on what city you're in. Oh, look, it's the reason I can't afford a house. You can do some sightseeing, which is pretty much just your guy taking selfies in front of a JPEG of Abraham Lincoln. This improves your motivation, giving you more special meter at the start of a match. A meet and greet gives you a slight boost to energy and some motivation. Then there's the mini-games, where you join the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega to play half-baked, janky shit mini-games. According to the reviews, this was a big sticking point, and I tend to agree. I didn't sign up to play Aldi Mario Party. These games are horrible. Unfortunately, they reward a decent bit of money and experience. So join them at your own peril. Gather chips and avoid bombs. Remember the cards. These are really bad. I mean, calling it Aldi Mario Party would be generous. I shop at Aldi, by the way. Shout out to Aldi. The Road to Elite stories... I'm sorry, I need to address this, but it's called Road to Elite, and not Road to the Elite, or Road to Being Elite. You know when you say a word so often it just sounds like gibberish? The Road to Elite stories are quite bad. CM Punk wants to wrestle me. Well, cry me a river. I won the tag team titles with Matt Hardy, but because he played a practical joke on me involving lost luggage, I turned on him automatically, and dropped the titles as soon as I won them. If you've ever wondered how dissatisfying some of the AEW storylines are, case in point, I got mugged by Death Triangle, tried to join Death Triangle, and they wanted to kill me instead. Did I win this 3-on-1 match with Death Triangle? No. No, I did not. Kenny Omega wants to fight me in an exploding barbed wire match. No. Match is surprisingly fun. Unlike the Lights Out match where I spent 20 minutes trying to put a guy through a table to finish the match, and it didn't work. But we did find some thumbtacks. Someone is ribbing me. Again. And I know it's Miro, but I can't do anything about it. Then I can, and I guess I beat him. Sweet. So, at the end of season mode, you get an evaluation. Your money and experience are converted into shop currency, and that's it. Then if you try and start career mode with your custom character again, all of your stats are reset. Are you fucking kidding me? Why? Who thought this was a good idea? Stadium Stampede is here too, I guess, and it fucking blows. Shit gimmick match. Which is what I would say if it weren't for the fact that I couldn't get a match. And you can't play it offline. Judging from the footage, it seems to be a PUBG/Fortnite clone with a heavy dose of jank, and even custom loadouts, strangely enough. Some reviews claim that the mode was better than expected, but I guess I'll never know. AEW Fight Forever has solid gameplay, but everything surrounding that falls short. If you're looking for a modern replacement for No Mercy, or even the SmackDown series, this is not it. But to be fair, it is a start. Since I didn't win the heavyweight belt, are we going to boot up career mode and run through another season?
Fucking hope not.
Diggity dog. Breaking.